The bitter ending of Pontius Pilate. After crucifixion, Jesus. Pontius Pilate, a name forever etched in history as the Roman governor who presided over one of the most momentous trials of all time, the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. His story begins with a question that has intrigued historians, theologians, and countless others for centuries. Was Pilate a ruthless enforcer of Roman law, or a man caught in the crossfire of morality and politics? Imagine being at the center of such a defining moment, where every decision echoes through history. Today, we unravel the life, choices, and ultimate fate of Pontius Pilate, exploring how his role transcends religion to become a profound moral and historical inquiry. Stay tuned, as this journey may change how you perceive one of history's most enigmatic figures. And before we begin, please like this video and subscribe to the channel to support more captivating stories like this one. To understand Pilate's actions, we must first examine the backdrop of his governance. In 63 BCE, the Roman Empire conquered Judea, bringing it under foreign rule. This occupation was deeply resented by the Jewish population, who yearned for political independence. The cultural divide between Romans and Jews was stark. The Romans worshipped a pantheon of gods, while the Jews adhered to a strict monotheistic faith. These differences often led to tension and conflict. Heavy taxation imposed by Rome added to the burden of Judea's people, fueling widespread resentment. Roman governors, including Pilate, were tasked with maintaining order, collecting taxes, and ensuring loyalty to the empire. However, their cultural insensitivity, such as attempts to introduce Roman emblems into Jerusalem, often provoked outrage. Resistance movements like the Zealots frequently rose in opposition, creating an atmosphere of unrest that Pilate was forced to navigate. To add complexity, Pilate's disregard for Jewish religious practices often led to incidents of outrage, such as his decision to use temple funds for building aqueducts, an act that deeply offended the Jewish people. Such decisions underscore the tension-filled environment Pilate had to navigate as governor. Pontius Pilate's early life remains shrouded in mystery, with limited historical records providing insight into his background. Born around 26 BCE into the Roman equestrian class, Pilate hailed from a family of moderate social standing. His rise to prominence was largely attributed to his connections within Roman politics, a common pathway for individuals of his status. In 26 CE, Pilate was appointed as the governor of Judea, a position he held for a decade under Emperor Tiberius. As governor, Pilate's responsibilities included enforcing Roman law, managing public order, and overseeing tax collection. However, his tenure was marked by tensions with the Jewish population, who viewed Roman authority as oppressive and invasive. Pilate's appointment was likely a result of his political alliances in Rome. As a member of the equestrian class, he used his connections to rise through the administrative ranks. However, his lack of sensitivity toward the people he governed became a recurring theme during his rule. Pilate's governance in Judea was fraught with challenges. His actions often reflected a disregard for Jewish religious sensitivities, such as using temple funds for infrastructure projects and introducing Roman standards into Jerusalem. These decisions sparked protests and rebellions, further straining relations between the governor and the Jewish population. For example, Pilate's attempt to introduce Roman military standards bearing the emperor's image into Jerusalem caused widespread outrage. The Jewish people viewed these emblems as idolatrous, leading to public demonstrations. Pilate initially resisted their demands but eventually relented, demonstrating his occasional willingness to compromise under pressure. Despite these conflicts, Pilate's authority remained intact, supported by the Roman military stationed in the region. His role required balancing the demands of the empire with the volatile dynamics of Judean society, a task that would ultimately lead to his most infamous decision. Pilate's involvement in the trial of Jesus Christ is one of the most documented aspects of his life. According to the Gospels, Jewish leaders accused Jesus of claiming to be the king of the Jews, a charge that posed a potential threat to Roman authority. Pilate, however, found no evidence to support their accusations and was initially reluctant to convict Jesus. In an attempt to avoid responsibility, Pilate sent Jesus to Herod Antipas, the ruler of Galilee. Herod, in turn, returned Jesus to Pilate, forcing the governor to make a decision. During Passover, a tradition allowed Pilate to release a prisoner chosen by the crowd. He offered them Jesus, but the crowd demanded the release of Barabbas, a known criminal. Fearing unrest, Pilate conceded to their demands. In a symbolic gesture, Pilate washed his hands before the crowd, declaring that he was innocent of Jesus' blood. This act has since become emblematic of moral evasion, as Pilate's decision ultimately led to Jesus' crucifixion. Scholars have debated whether this act was an attempt to absolve himself of guilt or a calculated political move to maintain order. Jesus was crucified on Calvary, outside Jerusalem, under Roman supervision. Pilate's inscription on the cross, "Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews," further fueled tensions with Jewish leaders, who saw it as a provocative statement. The crucifixion marked a turning point in both religious and historical contexts. For Christians, it signified the fulfillment of divine prophecy. For Pilate, it was a decision that would define his legacy, casting him as a figure torn between political pragmatism and moral responsibility. Historians have debated Pilate's motives in this episode. Was he a pragmatist trying to preserve peace, or a man who lacked the courage to stand by his convictions? The complexity of his role continues to captivate scholars and theologians alike. After Jesus' crucifixion, Pilate's tenure as governor continued to be marred by controversy. His harsh actions, such as the massacre of Galileans and Samaritans, led to formal complaints against him. In 36 CE, he was recalled to Rome to face Emperor Tiberius. However, Tiberius's death before Pilate's arrival left his fate uncertain. Some accounts suggest Pilate was exiled to Gaul, where he eventually committed suicide out of disgrace. Early Christian historians, such as Eusebius, viewed his death as divine retribution for his role in Jesus' crucifixion. Others argue that Pilate simply retired from public service, his legacy shaped more by tradition than by documented evidence. Additionally, Pilate's recall to Rome highlights the fragile nature of Roman provincial governance. His failures in Judea serve as a case study in the challenges faced by imperial administrators managing culturally and politically complex regions. Pontius Pilate's story has been interpreted in various ways over the centuries. In Christian theology, he is often seen as a symbol of moral cowardice, a man who chose political expediency over justice. His act of washing his hands remains a powerful metaphor for evading responsibility. Artists, writers, and filmmakers have continued to explore Pilate's character, depicting him as everything from a villain to a tragic figure. Films such as The Passion of the Christ and literary works like Master and Margarita offer differing portrayals of his internal conflict and actions. Pilate's story invites reflection on the complexities of power, morality, and the human condition, resonating across cultures and generations. His narrative serves as a reminder of the far-reaching consequences of choices made in moments of great pressure. Pontius Pilate's tale serves as a cautionary example of the consequences of decisions made under pressure. His role in the crucifixion of Jesus Christ highlights the enduring tension between authority and ethics, a theme that remains relevant in today's world. What do you think about Pilate's actions? Was he a victim of circumstance, a reluctant participant, or a man driven by self-preservation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. As we conclude, let us reflect on Pilate's story, not just as a historical figure, but as a mirror of human frailty and moral struggle. His choices remind us that even in the gravest of moments, faith, conviction, and courage can define legacies. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history and faith. If this story touched you, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Together, let us continue to explore the timeless lessons that shape our humanity. Until next time, let your faith guide you and your curiosity lead you.